Hello and welcome to About Last Night. Wow, wow, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed the action in the pool last night, you missed out on an amazing show. It, for me, was one of the most electrifying nights I've seen in a pool ever in my life.
Take your marks.
Listen to the crowd. This is a remarkable performance.
A world record, Zhanle. Have you ever seen anything like it?
He can't believe it, but it just happened.
It was day 5 of the Olympic Games and it was incredible. We're going to be recapping it for you. My name's John Mason. I'm one of your hosts here, joined by Bailey Jackson, of course. Back again, the incredible Tony Irvin. Tony, what a night. I'm still shaking.
I am. Last night, so much energy. I was nervous just being in the crowd.
I mean, it was one that I think I'm going to remember for a long time. You know, we had world records, we had Olympic records, we had surprises, we had celebrities in, the Prime Minister was in.
Yes, we even had the president of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde. And you know what, fact? She was on the French national synchronized swimming team.
You know, I love that you know that. I love that he knows that. Right, guys, it was a packed night of action, so let's dive straight in. I think it's important that we start, obviously, with Leon Marchand, who was racing 2 races last night, 2 Olympic records in the same night, 2 gold medals. Let's start with the 2 fly. Like, what a way to start the night. The crowd was electric.
It really was. And he had the showdown with the defending Olympic champion in Milak. And really, Milak was looking great. But you know what? There haven't been too many races that were within striking distance where the last 25, a competitor made the move and overtook. And that's exactly what we saw from King Leon tonight.
I mean, it was amazing. And for me, when I was watching that race, I thought it was Christoph's. And it was the underwater that Leon had coming into that final 50. And then it was like the final 25. The crowd was so on fire. It was like they brought him home. You know, gave him that little bit extra.
So loud when he's in there. So loud when any French athlete is in there, but especially for King Leon.
Of course.
Absolutely. I'm almost curious to know how having that home advantage fuels him in a race like this. I want to know your thoughts if you experience that yourself.
I mean, I've got to believe it can only help.
Yeah.
Right? You take that energy, either you shiver from it, you accept it, or you find a way to embrace it.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's embracing it.
Yeah, he's really like thriving, you know, and it's been nice watching him do that because obviously we've seen big performances from him in the past and we've seen him do things on the world stage. But in front of this home crowd, it's almost like he's come to life. You know, it's brought this sort of extra side to him out that I'm enjoying watching.
I'm enjoying the performances, and he still has a bit. It was a big day.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. 2 200s, not an easy feat.
Absolutely not, and we'll touch on that in a bit. I want to give a shout out, of course, to Ili Karun as well. You know, we got his Canada's first male medal last night in that 2 fly. It's the first time ever in Olympic history that a swimmer has won a double and got Olympic records on the same night, ever. That has never been done before.
Really?
So we were, yes, fact. So we were witnessing history. Oh, it gives me chills just thinking about it. I want to know from you, Anthony, like, what is the intricacies that are required, I suppose, for putting together a double and not just swimming them, winning them, and getting records in them? It's crazy.
It is so challenging and difficult. It's not something that I ever really learned how to do, but a lot of it is just itinerary, just knowing the time, right? And we knew he had 2 hours apart, right? So we had that first effort in the 200 butterfly, came out with the Olympic gold right away, going to the warm down pool, swimming it out, likely jumping on a table for a massage where they continue to flush all that poison, all that damage he did to his body, right? Like, that doesn't come for free. Like, he filled his body with a bunch of junk and poison from breaking it down to produce such a phenomenal effort. And so he has to go and work that out. Maybe it was an ice bath, he jumped in, chill out, everything constricts, flushes that poison to the heart to be circulated, to be cleaned up, and then back in to do a little bit more warm up later.
Do it all over again.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, amazing start for him on that 2 fly. I know everyone was wondering what he was going to do coming back into that 2 breast, and he didn't disappoint.
No, not in the least. And you know what, with the breaststroke especially, we saw this with the IM, the individual medley, every single breath he came up for, the crowd just,
Yes.
I love the roar every single time. It's like you get that energy, and I'm sure he hears it too.
Yeah, he has to hear it,
Yeah.
and just as a crowd, it feels just wonderful to be a part of it.
And it was interesting to watch. We had Zach Stubblety-Cook in there as well, who was defending champion from Tokyo, put in a fantastic performance for that silver. But Casper Corbeau was also going with them as well. Now, he's someone that we've really just seen sort of come to this high level over the last year and a half, 2 years. I really see him make leaps and bounds. And now he's got a bronze medal. It was amazing. But it was all about Leon, let's be honest. It was Leon's night.
Hey, kudos to those the other two athletes as well. But yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So that was obviously the epic stuff that we got to watch with Leon. We then got something else, a pretty incredible way to finish the night. A world record, Zhanle from China, hitting that men's 100-meter freestyle record, which it was his own record. It was wild. He was like a body length in front.
Yeah, he jumped out to an early lead, flipped at the wall, and then just kept going. I haven't seen anything like it. And that makes sense. It was a world record after all.
Yes. With something like the 100 from him, I suppose what we've seen, Tony, is that, seems to be performing really well in those relays, but has been a bit shaky sort of on the individual performances. So I'm not shaky, just a little slower, I suppose, than those performances. But he stepped up tonight.
You're right. We saw in the past, incredible opening up to a relay, right? World record in the World Championships earlier this year. But didn't seem to quite put it together individually. It's got to be a mental thing, right? There's got to be something in the psychology there. So whatever it was, he figured it out and he rose to the occasion and made it happen tonight.
No, absolutely. And this world record kind of shakes up the debate about the pool depth as well. There was a lot of conversation around if that 1 meter difference was affecting things. Curious to know your thoughts on it. We've talked to our other guests about it, and now that we've seen a record, what do you think?
Now, we saw the record. I don't think we've ever had an Olympic Games without a world record. So we can, that happened. I mean, as far as my own opinion, I'm leaning on physics here. I do believe that a deeper pool is a faster pool. It's just more water, more space to absorb all that energy of the 8 best swimmers in the world just charging through it. Right? That energy's got to go somewhere, and so being able to capture it in deeper water makes sense to me. So I don't think it invalidates the theory just because he broke a world record. I think he was just ready to swim that fast. And if anything, looking at Singapore next summer, he might do the world record again. Yeah.
In that race, we had Cole Chalmers. He was Olympic champion back in Rio. Always puts on an incredible final 25. His closing speed to me is something that blows my mind every time I see it, but he just couldn't quite get there.
No, Pan was just way too far ahead, even though Kyle was charging like a freight train, which he is wont to do. And he did manage to clip David Popovich.
Yeah, he did.
Right? So that was an incredible effort by him. I hope he's pleased with that. And David Popovich, world record just a couple years ago, a couple summers in Rome. Come here, Olympic champion, 200 free, and now he gets to carry home a bronze in the 100 as well.
It's not bad. And we got a new world record, 46.4, guys. 46.4. That is crazy. But it wasn't just the men, of course, in the 100-meter freestyles. We kicked off the night with the women's 100-meter freestyle, and what a way to start the evening. It was like Sarah Sjostrom, to me, I think has sort of cemented herself as the greatest sort of female sprinter that we've seen in modern history. No one was expecting her to swim 100. She was coming to do the 50, and now she's gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist in that race.
Yeah, so I suppose that's a little bit surprising because she has been focusing on the 50 free and doing incredibly well.
Of course.
Right? Consistently. World record in that event as well. But let's not forget, she's a world record holder in the 100 freestyle as well. And she decided, hey, let's just go for it. She's in incredible shape. She's always in great shape. Right? She's healthy. She thought she'd give it a go. I say it was worth it.
No, it was. She did it. She did it. And it seemed like an emotional win for her too. John, how did you feel in that moment?
Oh, it was amazing for me. I think for me it was more the knowing what she'd been through. For those who don't know, who are watching at home, she broke her elbow, had a very, very bad break, had to have surgery, and then all of this rehab back. And, I've spoken to her numerous times about this and sort of said, did you ever think, you weren't going to get back? And she said she's just started to have to take those little wins. She was so used to taking big wins on the world stage. So every day doing something little in training, like something that was a little bit better, was a win to her. So to see her come back from that and to watch her win that gold medal, it's given me chills. It was just, I don't know, knowing that journey was pretty special to watch her take that moment. And I'm really, really happy for her. But of course, it wasn't just Sarah. Torri Huske, lane 1. That's where my eyes were.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. Torri, Olympic champion Hunter Butterfly is following up on that now. Lane 1, outside smoke. That's okay to say, right? Because we're in France.
Of course you can. Why not?
Outside smoke.
Yeah.
Really held the lead for most of that race, but Sarah just had more at the end and overtaken it. I was almost like I almost didn't see the finish happen for Sarah up there in lane 7.
Torri Huske, for me, has been one of the performers to be watching in the female program here. She's been performing so well. That 100 fly, you know, when she took in the title and beat Gretchen Walsh to the touch. And now another medal, like a silver, and, you know, so close to taking the top of it. But I think we need to mention Siobhan Jorge as well. Always such an incredible performer and beautiful to watch race.
Yes, I love her style of swimming.
Yeah.
I love her technique, the way she holds the water. After having such an incredible 200 freestyle, now to come in here with that 100 as well. Yeah. I mean, she was in the pole position, so I know she was feeling it. She's like, I deserve to be on the podium. She knew that, and she got her hand on the wall, bronze medal.
And of course, we can't forget to mention that women's 1500. Katie Ledecky became the first woman to win a gold at 4 consecutive Olympic Games. There was no touching her. I mean, it was her night to shine, and she proved why she's the best distance swimmer in the pool.
Absolutely. She dove in right away, started asserting her dominance, just centimeter after centimeter, meter to meter. By the 500, she had over 2 body lengths, and I was like, this is about the Olympic record and the world record at this point.
Right. So looking back to the heat for the 1500, Katie was 17 seconds ahead of the person behind her. And then last night, we saw that she was 10 seconds ahead. Absolute domination. And another fact I want to throw out, the top 20 times ever for the 1500 are all held by Katie. And last night, she clocked the 8th best time that she has ever had for the 1500.
Her 8th fastest ever.
8th fastest
Was it?
ever, yep.
Wow. I mean, she looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she looked, you know what it was? It was like she got out of the pool and she was enjoying herself as well. I love to see her take that moment, you know. But Tony, I'm interested to ask you, you know, maybe it's not something you've ever had to do because you're a sprinter, but racing something like that on your own, it's got to be a difficult thing to do. What does it sort of go through your mind in that point? Because then it's about, you know, the times or what she's going for as opposed to what's happening in the pool around her.
I mean, I can only speculate.
Never had to do it in a 50.
Never had to do it. I, focus on the 50, but I imagine it's the feeling of the body, the feeling of the engine at work, right? Just like she's got to be just feeling that and just associating the feel of what she's doing with what she assumes her performance is, and that's what she's been training on. And clearly, she trains a lot. She puts in the work.
She does. Her engine is out of control. And of course, a fantastic performance, silver medal for the French girl, Anastasia Kurchipnikova. She did great. The fans were loving it. And she went out strong as well. You know, she wasn't keeping up with Katie at all, but she really put distance between herself and that battle for bronze. And no one really sort of came close to her.
No, you're right. Like even initially, I would say she was catching a little bit of a draft off of Katie, trying to stick there, take advantage of that. But by the time Katie pulled away, I think she had a significant margin on the other 2 athletes that were duking it out for that bronze. And that was a good matchup. They were neck and neck the entire 1500.
And you know, it was really fun to watch because they did the same thing in Doha. Isabel Gosser from Germany and Simona Quadarella, and Simona just pipped her at the post. It was like came down to the touch in a distance event, which you don't see very often. And tonight, it was like Isabel in that final 50, absolutely not. Put her foot down, got that bronze medal, and she was so happy with it.
Yeah. How could you not be?
How could you not be?
Right.
So that was all the racing. A fantastic night of racing, but we've got to do it all again tonight. So let's take a look at the schedule and see what you got to look forward to. All right, coming up tonight, we have the women's 200-meter butterfly, the men's 200-meter backstroke finals. We have the men's 50-meter freestyle semifinals, the women's 200-meter breaststroke final, the women's 200-meter backstroke semifinals, the men's 200-meter individual medley semifinals, and of course, that women's 4x2 freestyle relay final. It's going to be a big way to finish the night. But Tony, let's dive in. Who should we be keeping our eye out for in that women's 200 fly?
Ooh. Last night in that semifinal, Summer McIntosh made it look real easy, coming from behind and taking the lead with authority. So that's what I'll be watching. I'll be watching the Maple Leaf.
Summer, the Maple Leaf.
Looking ahead to the men's 200-meter backstroke, Tony, what are your predictions?
Well, Hubert Haas from Hungary looked very smooth, comfortable, and you know what? He is training partners with Leon Marchand in the States. So seeing what his teammate is doing, he can't not but help feel that he is prepared for this as well. Absolutely. And I would say also, just to like add something, there was an athlete, the top seed from prelims, Luke Greenbeck. disqualified.
I know, it
Right?
was gutted.
So even when you're at the Olympic Games, the best in the world, we make mistakes too.
Happens to the best of us. All right, moving on. We got the women's 200-meter breaststroke. Who's going to be duking it out?
It's going to be close.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, everybody was fighting it out last night in the semifinal. Of course, I'm biased. I'm partial. So Kate Douglas.
You think it's Kate Douglas?
I mean, Kate,
Going to give Tatiana a run for her money.
she had a great 100 breasts the other night, and we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And then lastly, looking at the women's 4x2 freestyle, who you got?
Women's 4x2 freestyle. I mean, come on.
Come on, come on.
Australia.
Yes! And it's got to be, come on. I mean, you know, I am putting it out positive vibes. It could go any which way. It's the Olympics, but, you know, I feel like Australia's 200 is looking pretty good. Gold and silver so far this week.
They're going to do their best, and that's what's important.
Exactly, exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Tony. It's always a pleasure having you in here. And thank you for joining us at home.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for another episode of About Last Night.